It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. Kicking off the show tonight, we heard something from the best Skid Row band that's not Skid Row. That would be Pen Siren with Sister Whiskey. Hope everyone's got a glass in hand tonight. And we just heard something from Fifth Freedom there with Coming Back for More. And all of you have come back for more to hear the silliness of myself and the guy coming to the mic, my good friend Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
What is up, man? How we doing?
It's another Saturday.
Yes, it is.
It's another Saturday, 22 years and counting in.
Yeah, it's been a lot of Saturdays for you, my friend.
It has. It has. Can you believe that? I was kind of discussing where people are in their lives, and the young lady whom I'm with at the moment.
Right?
She was telling me, I'm old, not me, her. And I said, I didn't even start the Classic Metal Show until another year in your age.
What is she, 22?
Yeah, no. She's 30, but regardless of that, it's just like, I didn't even start the Classic Metal Show for 2 more years. I didn't even start the show until I was 32 years old.
Wait a minute, your girlfriend is 30?
Yes.
When did you start dating old ladies? It's not like you.
Yeah, you're right.
Usually you got to get parental permission just to have them over.
Sure.
Play date.
Yeah. Yeah, so putting that in context and thinking about the number of years spent doing this show and, looking at that, it's just like, I haven't even started the show yet when I was your age.
I know, isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Yeah.
Then I look back and go back and think about, say, some movies or some concerts or things that I was listening to or went to see or whatever it was. Like me, I'm a huge documentary fan. I love watching documentaries, and the more documentaries you watch on Amazon Prime, the more they recommend.
Of course.
So you never run out of documentaries to watch, and so I was watching one on Aerosmith today.
Okay. And
they chronicled Aerosmith from the very beginnings, and I think it ended after Get a Grip. It was an older documentary, but it took you all the way up to Get a Grip, and I was thinking to myself, well, when Aerosmith came back with their big album Permanent Vacation, that was 1987.
Right.
Well, that's when she was born.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm listening to Permanent Vacation like that was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I went to the Pump tour that followed that when Skid Row opened up for them.
Wow. What month is her birthday?
April.
Okay. And so she was born in April of 87 or
87. 87. Yeah.
So in April of 87, let's see. I had graduated high school, and I'm the younger one of the two of us here. I had graduated high school. I had gone through basic training. I had gone through advanced training. I had gone to Korea, and I was almost midway through my first tour of Korea.
Well, by the time she was married, by the time she was born, I had been married and already on my way to being divorced when she was born.
Yeah, look at that. That's, dude, she's so old that's before I was married.
So I split up with the wife the month that she was born.
That's why, right?
Yeah, so it was just like, I'm getting rid of you because the one that I am going to be with, she's coming into the world now.
Right. The pussy I will be fucking has been born. Get ready. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm grooming this one 30 years down the line.
I'm sprinkling a little bit of that special sauce on that pussy, and it's going to grow.
Exactly.
30 years from now, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to be on a microphone talking about how old this girl is.
See how weird that is?
It is bizarro world.
Yeah. Dude. So thinking about it in those terms, it's just like, well, wait a minute. I was married and divorced when you were hatched.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Just think, when you were married and divorced, before she touched the inside of her mom's pussy for the first time. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
That's something.
That is something. So
is it weird that I'm the only one that thinks about the fact that we've all tasted our mom's pussy at some point? Is that a weird thought? But let's face it.
I guess if you put it in that context,
every one of our mouths has slid right through old Mama's pink canal.
Yeah, the old Play-Doh fun factory of life, as I like to put it.
Yeah, we have tasted the place that our dad used to stick his dick. That's just not right.
Unless, of course, you were a C-section delivery, which you were basically delivered like toast.
Right.
You pop through that crack and pop out like toast.
Like the old popcorn before they made microwaves.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that? It just boop,
the
and
Jiffy Pop.
Open.
Yeah.
Cooked it on the stove.
Exactly.
And all of that was before your chick was born.
Right. Exactly.
Your chick was born when beta was still a thing.
You're right.
It was going out of popularity, but beta was still a thing when your chick was born.
The big cartridges.
Yeah. There was no
that was
thing.
The littler ones. The beta was the littler cartridges.
Beta was the one reel, and the bigger ones were the VHS.
Yes, correct.
Or the real big ones that the TV stations used. I don't know what those are called.
Yeah, those were, I know what they were called, but they were like twice the size of a VHS.
Yeah, those were big, stupid things.
Yeah.
Dude, she was born so long ago that a 40 megabyte hard drive would have made you a king in your neighborhood.
You're probably right.
I know I'm right, because I got my first computer right around that time. In fact, it was later than that. It was 89 I got my first computer. And I paid $275 to buy a 40 megabyte hard drive.
Wow, look at that.
and I was furious at, dude.
Now, mind you, you said megabyte, not gig.
Megabyte.
Not gig. You said megabyte.
About the size of one song on a wave. Like a wave file, like one song. And I had one of those. And the only reason I remember that and remember the price was because I thought it was crazy expensive, but I bought it anyway. And then a big part of the expense was the guy installing it. And I watched the guy install it because I was one of those guys that wanted to know. And when I saw that it was fucking 4 screws and a plug, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to learn how to take these motherfuckers apart. And that's when my computer history began.
Right.
And now I've made millions of dollars being a computer dork.
Yeah, absolutely.
From that one moment.
Yeah, well, from the time that you set me up with my first PC, I learned everything on my own.
Well, yeah. All right, you want some history? Our friend Toomey just sent me some history of 1987. You want some history?
Let's go back. Let's get in the time machine and go back.
All right. I'll just ask you what you think. What do you think the average income per year was in 1987 when your chick was born?
Well, I know what I was making. I was making a pretty good dollar for somebody my age. I was 24.
Okay.
And if I remember right, I was making $44,000 a year at 24 years old.
You were living large.
I was. I had a very good job, but I would say that the average income was probably $29,000.
24,350.
Really? I was even high, huh?
Yeah. All right, now here's a good one, because this is right what I was at the time. A private first class in the Army, which was an E3, and this number looks exactly right. Want to take a guess?
$8,000.
Little bit more, but not a lot. $9,385. And every penny of it went to the bars in Korea.
Wow.
So you got to figure that year I spent $9,000 on alcohol.
Sure.
I have to think that that's what I did. All right, here's a good one. How about the average monthly rent for renters?
Well, I know what I was paying. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. Now, this was in California.
Right.
And my monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment, I think I was paying right about $385, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
That's what I was paying.
And what do you think the national average would have been?
It might have been lower because when I moved to Louisville in 1991.
Okay, well, they barely had electricity at that point.
I know it was a lot less, so I'm going to say that it was about $300.
I'm going to say that you were actually right in around the average. The average monthly rent in 1987 was $395.
Yeah, okay.
Because you got to factor in two-bedroom, three-bedroom, the bigger.
Yeah. I gotcha.
And back then, duplexes. Remember, everybody had a duplex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Do they make those anymore?
Yeah, I think so.
Just not in neighborhoods we would ever visit?
Yeah, probably.
Is that what? Because I can't remember the last time I saw a duplex. Do you ever see any?
A new one? No. Existing ones? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And when you do, you don't stop your car or roll the window down. You keep right the fuck on going.
Exactly. Yep, half the building or half the house or whatever.
Right. Those were all. We lived in a duplex when I was a little kid, and it was just brutal. It was the constant. My mom and dad were drinking buddies with our neighbors, the Hugheses, and they drank all the time. That's what they did. Can't imagine where I got it from. But, they would get together every Friday and play Yahtzee and get all fucked up on Lancer's wine, whatever that wine was. It was called Lancer's.
All right.
And it came in a bottle that looked like an urn.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It had the handles on it.
No handles. It looked like an urn.
Looked like an urn. Okay.
If you look it up, it was called Lancer's.
Okay.
It looked like an urn. But they would get all fucked up on playing Yahtzee, and we would play because I was 15, 16 years old at that point. So I was old enough to sit at the big table and play. But I would wait till they got fucked up, and then I would steal a bottle of the Lancers.
Sure.
They would buy like 6 bottles of this shit, and by the time they were 4 deep, it was a good time for me to slide out of the game with a bottle of Lancers. So I would slide out and go down the street to somebody's house and get fucked up.
Right. Well, I know Back for the Attack came out in 87.
87, sure.
Yeah, so that was a big one.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. You're a car guy. Let's do some cars. How much was a Ford Mustang?
A Mustang at that time?
Yeah.
Let me think here. That's when they changed the body style, or a year or two after they changed the body style. Okay. And they were actually thinking about discontinuing the Mustang at that point. Right. So I'm going to say it was probably about 23.5.
You are so high, isn't it?
Really? It was a lot less than that, huh?
More than half less.
Really? So it was only in the teens?
No.
A Mustang in 87?
$9,209.
Really? No kidding.
Yeah. How about a Grand Am, Pontiac Grand Am?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm certainly it wasn't more than a Mustang, so I'm going to say that was probably about 7.5.
Well, you would be wrong again, sir. It was more than a Mustang. It was $10,269.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now here's one that I actually owned in 1987, a Chevy Beretta.
Wow, I do remember those. Little two-door.
Yep.
Two-door, little 4-cylinder car.
Yeah, it looked like it was a sports car, but ran like it was your grandmother's car.
Yeah, pretty much. It had no power at all.
I mean, none. It might as well have had a solar-powered car in a cloudy day.
I'm going to say 6,500.
Well, 9,900.
Really? It was as much as a Mustang.
Yeah, a little more.
Really?
Yeah. That was when Mustangs were being phased, man.
Yeah,
remember?
They were on their way out at that point.
And that's when they started selling that 4-cylinder Mustang too.
Yeah.
Remember, they started selling the cheap one, so that because they were losing their ass. And
I think did they call it the Mustang 2?
I don't know. I think it was an LTE for light, because my wife had one.
All right.
I lost it in the divorce. I know I had one, but yeah, I remember, if I remember right at that time, they couldn't give Mustangs away because they ran like shit and they were,
Yeah, the quality had definitely fallen off.
Yeah, and they were trying to push that Cobra. Remember, they had the Cobra, which was like the souped-up one, and nobody wanted that piece of shit because it was like $40,000.
Yeah, it was really expensive. I remember that I think Farrah Fawcett had one on Charlie's Angels.
Sure.
She drove the Cobra, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just a piece of shit. I mean, I guess it was a nice car. I never even rode in one. I knew I couldn't afford one at that point, making my $9,000 a year. You know, it's amazing I was able to afford a Beretta.
Yeah.
For $9,000 a year. But,
Wes in the chat room has a good one, and I got to drive the last year that they made it, and it was actually a pretty slick car. Was the Fiero.
Oh, the Fieros?
Yeah, it was a little two-seater. It's set real low.
Made out of fiberglass.
Yeah, it was, and it had a rear-mounted engine.
Yeah, I almost bought one off of this one sergeant that I knew in California in '89, but I chickened out because it was the whole body struts was made out of fucking fiberglass.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a affordable sports car.
Yeah, and my only thought was, man, I hit way too much shit to have a fiberglass car. You know, I need steel.
Right.
And lots of it. Let's see. Let's pick one more car here. How about, let's see, something that you might have owned. You wouldn't have owned any of these. These are all shit cars that you wouldn't have owned.
Well, I did have a Buick Regal Grand National.
Well, there's no Buicks even on the list. How about, all right, here, because this was right about when it came out. I don't know if it's the exact year or not, but it's somewhere close. What about a Hyundai, whatever?
Yeah, I recall those.
They had just came out at that point, hadn't they?
Yeah, because the girl that I actually dated not long after I got divorced, about a year after I got divorced, her mother had a Hyundai.
Yeah, okay.
And let's see here. I'm going to say that it was an import, and I think it was a little four-door. It was just like a little sedan.
Yeah, it was like an Escort.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Honda Accord.
Right, exactly.
It was similar to that. Wow. Okay, I'm going to say that 8,500.
5,300.
Really, that cheap, huh?
The Accord was 10.9.
All right.
The Taurus was 11.8, and the Ford Escort was 6,800. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to get these prices now?
Sure.
Jesus fucking Christ! I got my Nissan out there. It cost me $30,000 fucking dollars. It's like fuck. Let's see what else happened in 1987. My next ex hit TV for the first time. Jodie Sweetin with Full House.
All right.
That debuted in 1987. Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's anything of big note here. No, not a lot else. The debut appearance of The Simpsons.
Yeah, I do recall that.
That was in 87. And then a bunch of other bullshit. You know, the Terry Waite kidnapping. Do you remember Terry Waite?
Not particularly, no.
He's some preacher guy that got fucking whacked in Beirut.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it. Aretha Franklin made the Rock Hall. Whoopee.
Okay.
Yeah, that's enough of this shit.
Sure. So, yeah, 1987.
Yeah. It was a good year for producing hot chicks and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
And underpaying for everything. Jeez, oh man. So there you have it, 1987.
Yeah, wow. Look at that. I was trying to look up this Grand National GNX, which was the last year for the Buick Regal Grand National.
Right.
And they only made 547 of them.
Okay.
And it had 300 horsepower, which was a big deal then. Turbocharged, intercooled, fuel injected.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see, I remember it was pretty expensive. It was close to $40,000 at the time.
Right.
To buy the thing. So, and that was my dream car at the time.
Wow.
So
now you have your dream car parked out in the driveway, don't you?
Well, yeah, it's in the garage.
Of course it is.
But yeah, at that time, though, I had an 84 Buick Regal. It wasn't the GNX because I couldn't afford that. But I did have one, and it got stolen.
Oh, stolen?
It got stolen.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
That just blows. Did you ever find out who?
No.
No.
Never recovered.
Well, that sucks. Did you at least get insurance payment out of that?
I did. I got about just shy of $13,000 out of it.
Nice. So you could have bought yourself 2 Hyundais and had some money left over.
Yeah, there you go.
Except that would never. I could never imagine you driving anything but a fucking sports car.
Yeah, I know. That's just who I am, you know.
I could never imagine you fucking strolling down the street in a Ford Focus. I can't imagine that you would rent one. I can't imagine if there was one car on the lot and it was a Ford Focus, you'd be like, "Can you take me to the dealer down the street?"
Right.
You would not, would you? You would not rent
No.
a little car or a little shitty car. You would be fucking pushing the pedal down to the floor. You'd be like, "When is this fucking thing gonna move?"
Exactly.
That's what this 4-banger bullshit sounds like, a fucking vacuum.
So funny.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, there you go. That's 1987.
Sure is.
A quick review.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear her say that she's so old, I think about all those things, and it's just like, yeah, you're not old.
Yeah, you might want to tell her to stop saying that around you, because secretly you're thinking, yeah, you kind of are. The way I date. You're a grandmother.
Yeah. So
take your walker and walk your ass out of here, honey.
Sure.
I gotta go find me a 19-year-old.
Exactly. It's too funny. But yeah. So anyway, it was kind of a spirited discussion about age and, you know, where I was at the time and
sure,
where I was at her age and what I was doing at that time.
Yeah.
So so anyway, I'm looking up this Buick Regal Grand National.
Mm-hmm.
And the new price for the just the Grand National was $16,600.
Wow.
In 1987.
By today's market, that would be about $68,000.
Probably.
Cars are ridiculous expensive.
Yeah,
now,
I know. Right? I mean, you know, without the rebates and everything that I got on my new 2018 Camaro,
yeah,
it was about $49,000.
That's just fucking nuts. That's a house.
It is.
You know,